All right, let's talk about getting multiple STLs arranged onto one Tinkercad workplane, and then how do we export that to prep it for 3D printing. If you're working on the Marble Maze assignment, we need to do a couple of things for setup first. The first one, friends, is to go up to the top left corner and change the name. I love Grand Biggery Snicket, but I want you to click on it and I want you to change it so that it has all of your group members' names in it, so I know who it belongs to. Once you've changed that, press enter. Next thing we need to do is to adjust the size of the work plane so it matches the 3D printer that we're using in class. To do that, look in the lower right where it says Edit Grid and click it. Switch the units of measurement to inches, and then change the width and the width and length to 8 inches by 8 inches. And then click Update Grid. All right, cool. Okay, so now we need to start importing the work that your team members have emailed you. They should have emailed you STL files. We're going to look in the top right corner and click on Import and go to Choose File. And we will pick some to import. When you're at the import screen, assume that they've done the work for this project in millimeters and bring it in at 100%. Everything else stays the same and click import. All right, there's our first one. And let me bring in a couple more. Okay, one more. All right, so I've got 3 objects here. If you look at this, you can tell it's not ready to print. For one thing, they're all merged together. And for another thing, definitely the orange object needs to be adjusted. So let's start by rearranging them all. One thing I like about Tinkercad is that if you want, you can select an object and then use the arrow keys to move it around. Sometimes that is more efficient. It's definitely more precise. Now, I would like to take the orange object, the ramp, and rotate it around. So let me use the right mouse button to change my view, and then I'm going to click on the ramp, and I'm going to use the rotate tool, and just let's rotate it so it's going the same direction like that. So that's all good, but obviously there's a problem here. The person who designed it and sent it to me didn't put any supports underneath, and it's floating in midair. The 3D printer could figure it out, but it will take a lot longer and there's a greater chance for problems. So what I want you to do, if you get an object like this, is to go to the rotate tool, and we're going to rotate it and try and get it as close to flat as possible. And then I'll click on it, press D for drop, and I'm just going to take a look and see how I did. I think I was pretty successful in getting that flattened to the build plane. Last thing I want you to look at when we're getting ready to print is to make sure that you're not exceeding the 4-inch height limitation. And the easiest way to do that is to simply click on an object and grab the ruler, place it anywhere, and we're looking. And this pink ramp is definitely not an issue. It's less than 2 inches high. But if I did need to lay it on its side so it would print, no problem, remember, because we can go up to the rotate tool, hold down the shift key, and it will move 45 degrees at a time till I get it nice and flat. Press D for drop, and then I'll use the arrow keys to make sure that it is not merged. Last thing I always check for is I'm going to rotate and look underneath and make sure that there is nothing hanging underneath the build plane. So for example, if this tube were accidentally designed so it's not flush with the build plane, it would be hanging below it like that, and that will not print successfully. So what you get to do though is easy. Click on the tube to select it, press D for drop, and it will level it onto the build plane. Last thing, friends, you're good to go, is to go to export, choose STL, and then make sure the file name has all of your names in it. Make sure you know where you're saving it to, and click the save button. Thanks for watching. Any questions, ask in class or put them in the comments below.